Good evening, America. Welcome back to another episode of Break the Machine podcast. It is Wednesday. We have hit hump day, middle of the week. As you know, there's always shit going off all day, every day of the week since January 20th. The news cycle is just so hard to keep up sometimes. It's just incredible. With that said, I hope you all have been having a really good week. I know in some places the weather's been really terrible. So I hope you all are doing okay. There's been storms all over the place, flooding in the Northeast right now and whatnot. So praying for everybody up there. I still have some family left up there, but not in the areas that are affected, thankfully. But those of you that are in the northeastern area, please, hearts and prayers going out to you guys. And we know that you guys are in the middle of it right now. I know I've been catching a lot of rain, but nothing like what's been going on all over the country. There was an earthquake up in Alaska it might be causing a tsunami. It's like a 7.3 or 7.5. So it's crazy. Hi Rosie, how are you doing, prima? It's good to see you here. You're early tonight. It's always good to have you, honey. So yeah, let's keep up prayers with everybody around the country. Every time we turn around, there's some natural disaster going off. It's been a pretty rough month um, for a lot of people over the last like 30 days all over. Obviously, we know what's going on in Texas. There are links in the description. The United Cajun Navy and also Team Rubicon, they're doing work in those areas. They actually go all over when it comes to disaster areas and stuff like that. So you can give to them. So yeah, make sure I'm going to keep them up there because they go all over the place. So I'm just going to keep them in the description permanently. So if you guys ever want to help out, you can. Uh, it's always good. Don't forget to pick up your Scars and Stripes coffee, family. Great blend of coffee. I'm going to be waiting for my espresso blend to come. Blend. I can't even talk tonight. Blend to come in so that I can try it out and whatnot. I grew up on Bustelo, so I have to see what the espresso's like. I had their downrange blend was really good. Uh, that was like the first blend, and I do have a stovetop percolator, so I was able to get that. Link in the description. If you'd like to help the show, there is a link at the top, donation link at the top of each chat. Anyway, let's get into some of the news cycle. Fucking rhinos at it again. We just listen. This is for you people in Florida who are watching. All right, if you're in this rhinos district, please, you guys got to do something about her. Find a way to get her out. This is what we need to be focusing on for in the 2026 primarying people out. Um, you know, we talked about stuff on both Friday and Monday when it came to Epstein. I told you all don't just sweep that shit under the rug. Keep being loud. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. Don't let anybody gaslight you and tell you that any different. Okay, it doesn't matter who it's coming from, including the president. All right, it's okay for us to disagree with him. All right, he's regardless. We're still having a lot of shit get done that's positive. He's just kind of stepped in a shit mine on this one, and he's going to continue to dig in because of his ego. That's the way he is. He's always been like that. If you've known him, he's been like that his whole life. So let him die on that hill alone. America First is about us. It will continue to be about us. It was here before him. It will be here after him. And we just need to continue, okay, to put the right people in to continue to get um, what we want done to fix this nation. So I'm going to get into, I don't know if you guys know who Maria Salazar is. Um, well, if you don't know who she is, you're going to find out about her because she is a piece of work. She's trying to get an amnesty bill put together. And she's got some motion. Again, she is a Republican. I believe she's Cuban from Florida. I don't know what her district is. But anyway, let's bring her in so you guys can hear her bullshit really quick and then we can comment on it. And it's just crazy stuff. Rogue Nina, good to see you, honey. It's always good. Rogue Nina's a ride or die. Jonathan, when you get a chance, brother, can you just put up the movie night date for everybody when you get a chance? Don't forget to sign up for the Discord, fam, so we can catch movie nights together. Myself and Jonathan, we put news articles in the news and politics section all the time. You can drop your stuff in there. There's a meme section if you want to put some funny ass memes in there. We know the left can't meme. So 726 fam. All right. Just remember that date. So come hang with us not this weekend, next weekend. All right. So we're gonna watch some movies. Uh did you put up a poll yet? I don't know if you did. I have to check. If you did, I'll go vote. today, a little bit later. But anyway, let's get into what do you call it? Maria Salazar. She's just a piece of work. Good Lord.
Moment, and I would like to thank all the members, 20 in total, Democrats and Republicans, who have joined us as original co-sponsors, in this fight.
Anything
It takes
with the
a
Democrats is gonna be
lot of
terrible.
courage to step up and say that you want to be part of the solution, especially on the issue of immigration, one of the toughest in the country. So I would like to express my deepest gratitude to you all, specifically to Veronica Escobar, who is my co-sponsor in this bill. My message is that the economy is the most powerful engine, our economy, the most powerful engine of prosperity mankind has ever known. We just signed the big, beautiful bill ushering in a new, modern era for American greatness. But there is one shadow still looming over the economy: our immigration system. That's why we're here today to introduce the Dignity Law. Dignity is not amnesty.
Sure is.
Dignity does
Just
not
listen,
grant
Tam.
path to citizenship to anybody. Dignity is the Solomonic way to fix a 40-year problem. Last week, we in Congress, through the BBB, we allocated $150 billion to secure the southern border. But the truth is that we still have over 10 million people or more working in construction, hospitality, agricultural, dairies, fisheries, slaughterhouses, who are undocumented, but who are not criminals. Human
Stepped over the
beings
border, you're a
invisible
criminal.
to the average American, but without them, we will not have food by this Friday. Yes, they broke the law, but someone gave them a job because they needed those workers who are still needed today. The Secretary of Homeland Security.
All right, I'm gonna pause that for a second, just so you see the usual suspects, right? Yeah, she is a puta. I'm telling you, she's she's been a big freaking disappointment. She got elected, like I said, in Florida. This is definitely amnesty. This whole thing. What's up, Scoob? What is going on, brother? It's good to see you. Listen, if you didn't come through here the proper way, okay, you stepped over the border. It doesn't matter what country you came from. You're illegal. You're a criminal alien. Okay, and these people, they want to continue to they don't seem to understand. All right, well, they do understand, they just don't care. All right, that this is a lot of this shit is just for shit wages because they don't want to pay Americans the proper wage. All right, so when she's talking about construction, I can tell you in my time in construction, I spent about but anywhere between 10 to almost 15 years in construction management. I even had my own company, okay, a low voltage company and whatnot. New York City, okay, which has been the bastion of all kinds of union trade work for heaven knows how long. By the time I was done with construction and I didn't want to be in it anymore, okay, almost I want to say just a little bit over 50% of the jobs were non-union in the city of New York, which is like every trade that you could think of is building in New York City. All right. So like almost 50% of the jobs were going away from freaking dealing with the unions and stuff like that because they didn't want to. So these people that she's talking about on these construction sites, they're not part of the trades, like trade unions and stuff like that. Most of them, and it's not that they don't end up in trade unions. I've had quite a few of them on my job sites. Okay, that they made it in the trade unions and were making bank. All right, because that's how you make bank in construction, unless you have your own company and you're putting in some serious work. Anyway, so this is just for them to their whoever's reaching out to them, big ag, okay, big construction, whatever you want to say, reaching out to these people to try to get a fucking pass. All right, because they don't want to lose their people, so they don't have to pay proper wages to American citizens. And this bullshit about Americans don't want these jobs is just that bullshit. Let's continue to hear her crap.
Said it herself, Homeland Security, she said it herself clearly. Congress needs to write legislation to fix this mess. Well, here is the legislation, madam. No more need to choose between amnesty or deportation.
It's amnesty.
Dignity Bill is the answer. And here's how it works. If you are undocumented and you have been in the country for more than 5 years, you do not have a criminal record, you're working and paying taxes, you can come out of the shadows with no fear and apply for the dignity status.
That's amnesty, fam. So they use words like dignity to pull on your heartstrings.
That means they will pay a fine of $7,000 over 7 years, buy their own health insurance with no access to any federal programs, and contribute 1% of their salary to the United States Treasury. That is $50 billion plus. Just do the math. In return, they will never be deported. They will be able to go home for Christmas or to go bury their mother and come back to the United States to continue working and paying taxes. It gives them a dignified life in the promised land, period. Now, I want to speak directly to the President of the United States. President Trump, sir, the same God who saved you from death in Pennsylvania 1 year ago and who put you back in the Oval Office against all odds is the same God Almighty who millions and millions are begging to for some type of dignity, not amnesty.
It's amnesty.
Sir, I believe that you could be for immigration what Lincoln was for slavery and Reagan was for communism. You are a businessman who understands our economy needs a reliable working force in areas where other Americans don't participate. You stopped Iran on its tracks.
That's a bullshit argument.
You stopped China from eating our lunch. You took the economic oxygen away from Maduro, and you signed the BBB the day that you said you were going to sign it. You have been called to do this, to fix this 40-year mess with just one signature, yours. Human dignity is one of the 7 pillars of American conservatism. For that reason, Mr. President, the eye of history is upon us. Some of the most shameful moments in our past as a country relates to how we have treated immigrants who are not criminals.
You're a criminal.
And we are in one of those moments.
Illegally.
If we get this wrong, future generations will pay the price in shame. But if we get it right, the United States will continue to lead in liberty, and you will have been the commander-in-chief. It's in your hands, Mr. President.
It's not in his
May
hands,
the Lord
it's not going to see the light of
guide
day. All right, so here we go, fam. All right, because I will say this: the only thing that she's absolutely correct about, okay, is that, you know, the only thing she's really correct about, all right, and I won't disagree with her on, is that our system does need to be fixed. Okay, it is incredibly for good people to try to get to this nation, and you know they're not criminals, they don't have a history of criminality in their own country. You know, they're educated, and some in many cases it takes way too long. One of our own, okay, in our community, okay, Rosie Riveter, she'll tell you, we talked about her all the time, all right? It took her 24 fucking years to get her citizenship, and she served the nation. All right, so we can't deny that there are issues with our immigration system on how things work, all right, for the good solid people. But you can't say, all right, that people who came here legally jumped the line in front of many other people, regardless of how good natured they are or how godly they are not criminals. The minute you step over our border, you're a criminal alien. Okay, you can be the best person in the world, you can be the most God-fearing person in the world. You broke our laws to get into this country. Period. You had no problem, okay, breaking our laws to get here. All right. And then we see many of them, not all of them, okay, because I'm not going to lump them all together. We see many of them, they're kids really, okay, because that first generation of people, you know, they're trying to work, they're trying to do their thing. A lot of them are good people. I'm not going to take that away from them. All right. It's just they came here the wrong way, okay, and you got to go back. You just got to go back. It's just people, they think that President Trump, when he was talking about immigration, was saying we're only going to go after hardened criminals and gangbangers and whatnot, and you know, people connected with the cartel. He never once said he was gonna stop at that. Okay, never once, right? So now that we're moving on to, he's gotten a lot of people who are really hardened people. Okay, I'm gonna bring up an article a little bit later. You know, they've arrested a lot of really nasty, violent people that deserve to go. All right, that should have been, they shouldn't even been allowed in the country in the first place. But here's the problem. All right, and this has been going on for a very long time. And she's right, about 40 years. It's actually been longer than that. the issue we have with immigration that needs to be fixed. I agree with her where we need to fix the immigration system to make it for good, solid people who want to come in, okay, to prove, all right, that they want to not only be, here to work, but they want to become American citizens. That's the problem that we're having, okay, with this mass, illegal immigration shit that we had going on, especially the last 4 years. Because a lot of them don't want to, they don't want to, they don't want to assimilate here in the United States. They don't want to be American. And you see their kids out in the fucking streets rioting and whatnot, okay, taking shots at freaking ICE agents and whatnot and everything and stuff like that. You know, I got news for you. You're absolutely correct. The Rogaine self deportation offer is way more than fair. They should take it and leave. They should, and a lot of people have. A lot of people have taken a self deportation, gotten $1,000 on the way out to go back to their country, including they don't have to worry about if they want to come back the right way, they can. They were getting that's amnesty in itself, and I'm okay with that. All right, the administration has said if you self-deport, you won't have a violation. We'll wipe the violation and we'll let you come back the right. If you come back the right way and stuff like that, because now you have a bit of a history, so you can prove. Listen, I know it was there. You told me to self-deport. I self-deported. Now I'm trying to come through the right way so that I can continue to work in the job that I'm at. All right. So this whole thing about them not Americans not wanting jobs. Are there some Americans who won't take these jobs? Absolutely. There, there are. But I'm going to tell you, okay, that especially where I'm at, it's all a lot of those jobs that they're talking about. Okay, where I'm at, I can tell you it's Americans doing the jobs. You go to any fucking fast food place here, okay, where I'm at, it's Americans there. All right, it's American citizens doing. I see them on the roads. I see them doing fucking landscaping. All the jobs that they're talking about. So if you're talking about the LA elite, right? The elitists in the Marxist party that they want to continue to use these people as slave labor and stuff like that, to fucking like they say clean their toilets and do their laundry and shit like that, because they say it out in the open. These people, okay, they say it out in the open that yeah, we want these people. Who's gonna clean our toilets? They literally say this shit, okay, and you hear this shit coming out of their mouth, and you're like, so we're just gonna treat these people like we're gonna degrade them, right? Because they don't give a fuck. They really ultimately don't give a fuck. And people like Maria Salazar, she doesn't give a shit, right? Her donors are fucking coming at her, right, and being like, hey, you got to do something about this. So, you know, she's gonna co-sponsor a bill with some Marxist to this is an amnesty. It's absolute amnesty. She's like, they're not criminals. You know who she sounds like? She sounded like AOC right there. They're not criminals. She sounds like the fucking commie jihadi up in New York City. They're not criminals. It's all by design. All right. So I don't know where she's coming from. It's not gonna help her. If you're in this lady's district in Florida, fam, please take care of her when the primary comes up. I think she's up in 2026. Okay, primary her ass out. We don't need it. It's sad because the dipshit that was standing to her right, okay, I was his constituent when I was up in New York. All right, Michael Lawler. All right, and I stopped talking shit about him because he, you know what? He put feet to the ground, and when I needed it, he tried to help my family out. All right, so I stopped talking shit about him because I was like, well, the dude fucking was trying to help one of his constituents when I needed it. All right. When my mom was trying to bury her dad, who was a veteran, okay, and they lost his paperwork, he was trying to help me with the National Archives and stuff like that to get the records like ASAP. Didn't happen. Okay, but he got involved. He called me personally. I spoke to him on the phone. I got the man's phone, okay, in my phone, all right, because he was so but to see him out there, that doesn't surprise me that he's on board with this, right? Because it only affects big cities and stuff like that and everything, um, the most, because they're okay with it. And he's in the New York City metro area, where he got reelected and stuff. So again, we hear these people's listen. It's a sad situation, right? Like we can be humane about this shit, okay? And the self deportation thing, they were even getting money on the way out. Wipe the slate clean, come through a freaking port the right way, all right? Come through the right way, bring the paperwork. Even they're giving them a way to come back, all right? And I'm not opposed to. We used to do these work visa things, okay? Seasonal visas that we used to do, all right? That actually used to work. People would bounce, okay, and they would come back every season when it was that they were supposed to work on a farm, whatever it was, and that we used to actually enforce that. When we stopped enforcing that, that's when shit went to hell in a handbasket, and you got to blame Reagan for that, right? They sold them a bill of goods, and it ended up being amnesty back then. And then that's where everything spiraled out of control, and that was in the 80s. All right, and it's been, you know, I, it's at least 60 million, okay, illegal aliens that going back 40 years, right? Not just like from last year, from the last 4 years. I'm talking about 40 years, right? Because they've been throwing that number 10 million out for a very long time. That number doesn't stick, it doesn't hold anymore. So my thing with this is, yes, there are some good natured people, good solid people who have never committed any crimes in the countries that they came from. I do want them to, people like that to come to this country, but you got to want to come here and be American. All right. No one says you have to stop eating your food from your native country, stop fucking appreciating the country you came from, your culture. Nobody's asking you to give that up. Okay. So anybody says that, that's bullshit. Okay. Nobody tells you, nobody in this country has given up their culture, no matter where they came from. All right. Myself included. Okay. Like my family are American citizens by birth. Okay. Whether we're born here in the United States or on the fucking island. All right. But I have never stopped being Puerto Rican. I have never stopped eating the foods. I've never stopped listening to salsa and everything, merengue and shit like that. None of that. I've never stopped, wanting to fucking feel that around my family and around other Puerto Ricans and stuff like that. That shit has never gone away. It's never gonna go away. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna be like, well, I'm gonna stop being American and fuck America and everything like that. I'll never be like that. I've served this nation on two separate occasions, one of them in combat. All right, so there are plenty of these people who want to come here. Just come the right way. That's all we're asking. All right. And again, a lot of people self deported, which was a great thing. And they took the money. And I hope all those people who decided to self deport, they try to come through the right way so they can come back and live a good life. I want people to come in this country and live a good life. And on the fucking thing with immigration and stuff like that, the H-1B visa shit, that's a problem. All right. I posted an article probably about a week or two ago about that. It is still a problem. All right. With these companies and corporations. All right. Shafting American citizens out of jobs by, paying these foreigners fucking lower wages. So that's what it really comes down to, is not wanting to pay Americans the proper wage that you should be paying them here in the United States. They end up paying lower. The immigration thing deflates wages across the board for people. So when you have these people hired, okay, in some of these companies and everything like that, it suppresses wages for everybody, right? Because when you think that just because you're an American, you're gonna get a higher wage than some of these people that they hired who are illegal immigrants, you're not. The company's gonna want to save money. They're not gonna want to spend fucking extra money on you. One, you have a fucking chance in hell of not getting hired anyway with some of these jobs. So again, I Maria Salazar, if you're in her district, fam, please, please, I beg you guys, do something with her. We need to bounce her ass. She's just been a problem since she's come in, and we don't want that shit. We just don't want it. Again, I'm always going to reference one of our community, another another member of the demo crew here, Rosie Riveter, and her struggle to become a citizen the right way. All right, and how long it took her. That, to me, that shit needs to be changed. I agree with that. I agree that the system is broken and it needs to be fixed. Right. But again, you see second and third generation from like these kids that have been protesting and everything like that recently, and fighting ICE and fighting cops in the streets on the West Coast and whatnot, and all cities all over the place when they're protesting and everything. Their parents aren't like that. Okay, their parents weren't like that, right? Like, they came to the United States to leave a Marxist situation or socialism and stuff like that, right? Regardless of whether they're illegal or not, we'll take the illegality out of it for a minute. All right, they came here to give their families a better life, and then they raise these kids who fucking don't accept this country, and they're nothing like their parents, right? And like, who wants Latin American socialism? I don't fucking want that. Go look at some history books, fam. Okay, Latin American socialism is very, very nasty. You think European socialism and the Asian socialism is fucking horrible? Look at Latin American socialism and what it's done to Latin America as a whole. You can see it in live time in Venezuela. You can see the communism in Brazil right now and whatnot. Um, Yeah, yeah. And Rosie says, and again, I was talking about her. She says, but let's also remember that legal immigration has stipulations. They want people to legally immigrate to this country that are going to make this country better. Keyword better. You're 100%. You can't, like, that's like 100% like on point, fam. Okay. We want people to come here who not, they have to want to be. assimilate to this nation. They don't have to give up their culture. We're not telling anybody to stop eating fucking, whatever foods you're coming from. Stop listening to the music and keep that shit. You want to keep that shit. That's part of who you are. Don't ever give that shit up. I'll never give it up. Um, yeah, you're again, she's gonna another point, and I use her as an example because of her struggle, right? And she did it at the end with a smile on her face and fucking and loves this country. She says also they want people that will assimilate, they want people that will speak the native language. This country does not want people that refuse to become US citizens. 100%. Rosie Riveter, we had Sonia from Brazil on with us not so long ago, and she got into the immigration. She was talking about the problems in Colorado and illegal immigration, and she's been here since the 70s and how long it took her to get her citizenship and whatnot. All right, so like we got members of our community who went through it the right way, all right, and did it the hard way. And I think and we saw a reflection of that. I don't know if they thought that the Hispanic community was just gonna side with illegal immigrants. A lot of freaking people who immigrated here from Spanish speaking countries, okay, were not having this illegal immigration shit. They're like, I busted my ass with my family. I did everything I was supposed to do. It took me forever to get my citizenship. In many cases, many of them were still waiting for their citizenship, and we're gonna let these motherfuckers jump the line. That is the problem that we're having with illegal immigration. That is why, okay, it is such a freaking, it is such a hot topic with Americans across the board, okay, including Hispanic Americans, all right, where many of them, their families had to come here the right way, or went from going back. Many of them have gone back fucking decades, okay, to when their family first got here from some of these countries, and they don't want to hear it. They just don't want to hear it. I don't blame them. They shouldn't. They really shouldn't. I don't blame them. Okay. She's talking about all kinds of jobs and stuff like that and everything, but it's still taken away from American citizens, and I'm not going to ever be on board with that. I will never be on board with that. You know, um, we can't go along with shit like that. If we don't shit, even freaking the stroke that fixed Fetterman's head is saying that freaking we can't be a sovereign nation if we don't protect our borders. So again, I want good people to come to this country. She's not wrong when she says that there are a lot of good people in the illegal immigrant, and I'm going to continue to call them illegals. They're criminal aliens. The minute you step across the border and you broke our law to get into the country, you're a criminal alien. Okay? And the only jurisdiction we have is to scoop your ass up and send you back. We saw what happened, okay, in the last 4 years. 4 years of many of them, not all of them, many of them getting fucking benefits, okay? Our benefits. There's so many things. All right. Yeah, Rosie, I'm with you, honey. I agree with you 100%. And that's what I commented on that. She's really, they talk her and like the elitists on the left, they want people to fucking just clean their toilets and clean their homes, housekeepers and shit like that. That's what they're talking about because they're living these lives in gated communities, by the way. Okay, they have their own borders to protect themselves. And in her case, probably, people protecting her with weapons, whether it be private security or not, all right, and have probably in a state like Florida probably has weapons of her own in her own house to protect herself, where a lot of people don't. Has anybody paid attention to like how crime is fucking plummeting across the country? It actually is. All right, it's we still have them obviously in urban areas and stuff like that. Okay, and it's plummeting. Certain crimes, not all crimes. All right, because it's not like Americans don't commit crimes and shit like that. All right, because we have plenty of fucking knuckleheads and thugs that commit crimes that are American and whatnot. So we can't fucking label. We can't say that every illegal alien is committing crimes on the street because that's not correct. Um, yeah, yeah. The Democrats and the rhinos definitely love slave labor. Jonathan, you're on the moment. So that's my big thing, right? But think about it. If we start getting Americans hired to some of these jobs, getting paid the money that they're supposed to be getting paid. Okay. When some of these other people come into the country the right way, legally, okay, and they actually immigrate to this country legally and they get some of the same jobs, they're coming in and they're benefiting right off the bat off of Americans fucking making it better for them by getting higher wages and stuff like that. So right now there's a wage suppression with a lot of different jobs that cater to hiring some of these people because they know that they can get away with it, right? Like I've been seeing people, oh, I voted for Trump and now my business is shit. Were you not paying attention to what he was talking about? That they were coming. He never said he was going to stop at just like hardened criminals, okay, who were let out of some asylum or some jail from Venezuela. He's not just talking about gangsters and stuff like that. He's talking about everybody, you know. So again, it's a tough situation again where I agree with her, and this is the only thing I agree with her is that our system does need to be fixed, and we need solutions on that. We need to make it a little bit, we need to make it I don't want to say not strict, but make it that it's less time for good people, good solid people who are trying to immigrate to this country the right way, all right, to become American citizens. I'm not saying the classes, all that. I'm not saying to get rid of all that shit. Okay, what I'm saying is the time frame it takes. It should never take somebody 24 years to get their citizenship. All right. Like one of our own, Rosie Riveter. All right. And she served our nation. Okay. She's a veteran. All right. So it just tough situation, fam. And it does have to be fixed. I agree with her. That's the only place where she's gonna get me to agree with her is that it has to get fixed. Um, you know, uh it just does. On the bright side, on a good side, the FBI arrested that dude that was fucking taking shots, the Antifa dude, okay, who was taking shots at ICE trying to do their jobs and whatnot. So that's a good arrest that happened, I believe today. Says FBI arrest Benjamin Song wanted an armed Antifa ambush of officers of Texas ICE facility. I think that was like 4th of July weekend or something. It says former Marine Corps reservist Benjamin Song should be ashamed of his fucking self. An alleged shooter in the armed ambush by Antifa terrorists at the ICE Prairie Land Detention Facility in Alvarado, Texas, on July 4th was arrested Tuesday, yesterday, by FBI agents in Dallas. An Alvarado police officer was wounded by a gunshot in the neck during the July 4th nighttime attack after a black-clad Antifa terrorist cell provoked a police response by launching fireworks near the facility. Vehicles were also spray painted with graffiti. 10 suspects were arrested fleeing the scene of the attack, with Song escaping. One person was later arrested for attempting to conceal evidence, and 2 people were arrested for helping Song evade arrest, bringing the number of those arrested to 14. I'm glad they got this fucker, but I'm gonna say this, okay? Something needs to get done about these. Something needs to get done, okay, about them. They need to this shit with fucking Pantifa, all right? They're very violent, okay? And something needs to happen about that because again, we're seeing these fuckers go around, they're taking shots at cops. And it's not even just the law enforcement, right? They go after people, right? They try to dox people and whatnot. Um, they what do you call it? They dox people, they'll go to people's homes, they jump people and everything. Shit, during the BLM riots, people genuinely died and were murdered, okay, by these clowns, right? And some of them are true believers, so it's not like they're, I know we fucking make fun of them and stuff like that, but some of them are true believers and they get caught up in this, like this dude's song, right? Marine Corps fucking reservist. That means nothing to me. Whether he was in the military, I'm not gonna give this guy any kind of fucking play. Oh, he was in the military. I could give a rat's ass. Okay, and he's gonna get his just due. He's lucky that the cop didn't die. That's the only thing that's would be stopping him. I know he's gonna be fucking. It's gonna be federal charges, both state and federal charges, but I know they're gonna go after him federally because ICE was involved, and it was on ICE property. So let me see. Let me read a little bit more and see what they're gonna charge this fuckhead with. Um, it says, see, pending federal charges, Song is being held on $5 million bail in the Johnson County Jail on charges of engaging in organized criminal activity, aggravated assault on a public servant, and aiding in the commission of terrorism. Toast. FBI Director Kash Patel announced the arrest of Song captured Benjamin Hanel Song, a subject wanted by the FBI for attempted murder of a law enforcement officer at the Prairie Land Detention Center in Texas on July 4th. Song and multiple other subjects allegedly shot fireworks. I read that already. That's just a different part. They're repeating themselves. So, he's going to get hooked up on terrorism charges. That's what they are. Okay. They're a domestic terrorist group and they need to be treated as such. They have no regard for the law. Okay, they have no regard for human life. Like I said, plenty of people ended up getting murked during the BLM riots. They caused billions of dollars of damage on people's property. They were trying to light federal buildings on fire and whatnot. Um, and I don't think any of them. Kamala Harris was raising money for them and whatnot during the time, so that she was, she was raising money from. That's like real shit, at the time and whatnot. When all of that was going down, we have to they have to get reined in somehow. They got to start going. These people, I know they run around with masks and stuff like that, but we obviously they caught 14 of them. So, this they got to have some fucking idea who some of these organizers are, and they need to just go do something about it because we have friends of the show. Haven't I got a friend that I'm in touch with on Instagram where she got doxxed. Okay. They went after her daughter, and everything like that. And she's a fighter, right? Like her and her husband continue to go out in places like Portland because that's where they're originally from. Okay. And they're gonna continue to fucking preach freedom and stuff like that and free speech and whatnot. They refuse to be canceled. But they tried to hurt her and her family and stuff like that. One day when she has time, I've been trying to get her on to come and tell her story, right? Because Antifa has been diabolical with her. Okay, they all know who she is in that movement, in that group. Okay, and wherever she goes, it's tough for her to travel and whatnot. Um, because they all freaking coalesce and they do stuff. Yeah, they're still Portland is a mess. Oregon is lost, Seattle's lost, but Portland, I know Portland is just a mess. It's never ever since they raised the no-go zone and everything like that and called it Chad Town or whatever the fuck it was called, Chadville. Um it's just been crazy up there. Yeah. Portland is a lost cause. And there's people fighting in the state of Oregon, but I just don't know. I honestly don't know. If you're just joining us right now, say hello in the chat. We'd appreciate you. Sign up for the Discord. We got movie night coming up next weekend on the 26th. We do that at 8 p.m. Eastern. That's on the Discord. We've been watching some pretty solid movies there. We want to get more people involved to come hang with us and whatnot. Just makes things more fun. And on the Discord, we got a lot of places where you can drop news articles, you can drop memes, music, shit. We got a venting freaking channel on the Discord that Jonathan created. If you want to just go in there and bitch about something, you can. We got a prayer one if you need prayers for your family and whatnot. Um, and we just reach out to you all. We just want to make sure that we keep growing the Discord and whatnot and get some more of you people involved. Uh, it's I don't know, man. Fucking Antifa is really it's a real serious thing. What's going on? And you know what else is going on? We're closer and closer to fucking Skynet taking over. I posted this article earlier today. Nina, she's our resident fuck Skynet. Okay, we love Nina. And again, it says President Trump has said that I disagree with this control on AI. It has to be reined in. President Trump is set to join Pennsylvania Republican Senator Dave McCormick at a major energy and AI summit at Carnegie Mellon University this afternoon, according to local media. McCormick is expected to unveil plans for at least $75 billion in energy and AI infrastructure investment across Pittsburgh, aiming to transform the city from a hollowed-out manufacturing town into the AI hub of the world. So it's again, it's ramping up speed. I'm glad that in the big beautiful bill, people everybody was raising hell. You all were raising hell, okay? And they pulled that shit out. And there was enough people in Congress and in the Senate that pulled that AI shit out of there, that moratorium on states not being able to freaking essentially regulate it in their states for like 10 years. Then they tried 5 years and finally they pulled it out. So, um, listen, unfortunately, AI's been here with us for a long time. We all know that. We've talked about it on the show a long time. But you can't just, there needs to be serious regulation with this shit. Okay. Because it can get out of control. Every time they do a test on one of these things, it ends up fucking just absolutely wanting to obliterate humanity. The humans are the problems. It's like, have you guys not watched some of the science fiction we've been telling you this shit for decades now? All right, that if you let this shit run rampant, it'll get out of control, and next thing you know, we'll be batteries for fucking machines. It's just, I'm telling you, man. I understand, okay, Pittsburgh, when the steel industry collapsed in Pennsylvania, okay, it got hit very, very hard. And that caused a ripple effect for decades in a city like Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is actually a very nice town. I've been there and stuff like that. It's actually, I thought it was a pretty city, but again, run by fucking idiots. Most cities you can go to, you can see something. Even Denver, I went to Denver and I was like, wow, this is some of the parts that I was in was like this pretty. There's even like affluent areas with houses and shit like that, like these beautiful homes and stuff like that we drove by and everything. But you know what I saw everywhere, including in the nice parts? Just constant rampant drug use, junkies everywhere. I was like, holy shit, the drug problem's really bad. But it is Colorado, so there you go. uh but we need to, what do you call it, Pittsburgh, it will be refurbished, right? If they do this, it will definitely land a lot of jobs in that area, a lot of people. But the question is, who's going to get those jobs? So we're going to be is it going to be the H-1B visa people that come into the country from other nations and shit like that on work visas in order to get shit wages, in order to do stuff that a lot of Americans are qualified for? um yeah, the AI runs on a lot of energy, and it's why, if you remember, actually Scott brought that up on one of the shows a couple of shows ago, where we talked about nuclear energy, and like they want to bring up like three online over the next couple of years, which would be virtually impossible to do those things. It takes forever to build one of those. Although with new construction, techniques, they could build faster, but I'd rather them take their time building nuclear power anyway, get it right. Uh, we got techniques in construction that, construction's a lot faster now if you're doing it the right way. You can build a lot quicker with a lot of things. Shit, you can pour concrete in cold weather, in the rain and stuff like that, where it used to be a time you couldn't do that. They got different types of concrete now. When I was building a school out in Far Rockaway, we were building it in the sand, and we had to do these big, massive concrete pylons, okay, to erect the building up on, and we were pouring in the rain and pouring in the snow and all that other stuff in terrible weather in the cold, and that shit was just perfect. So we got techniques that have changed over the years to build things correctly, but um, his I don't know what he's thinking. It's not, we're not going to be able to build like three or four nuclear power plants. I think he wants to do three, one on the East Coast, one on the West, and then one in the middle of the country, to try to strengthen our power in the nation. We should have been on nuclear power for a long time now. It's a lot cleaner now. It's a lot more efficient, and we can get more out of it. Yeah, yeah, Jonathan says they raised his bill for data center energy. Yeah, it takes up AI takes up a lot of power. Okay, a whole bunch of power, and solar alone is not going to be enough to power AI hubs and stuff like that. That's not how it works. That's not how the movie. I know the movies show that, but that's not how it works in reality, fam. You need massive power, and nuclear would be the way to go in order to power that stuff. But yeah, Jonathan is telling the truth. Your energy bills are gonna get raised. That's some bullshit, like Nina says. It's straight up garbage. You know, it's just fucking. It's fucked. It's absolutely fucked. Um, you know, uh, it's just it sucks, and people's energy bills will absolutely go up, and which is why we need better freaking power. Uh, anyway, let's get into some more news. I actually posted this yesterday. Again, we talked about the good that is going on between the Department of Homeland Security and the DOJ. These are things that need to get done. It says this is 1,361 criminal aliens arrested by ICE. This goes right into what we were talking about with illegal immigration in June, including 32 child predators and 9 killers. In Houston, Texas, Immigration Enforcement Operations officers arrested nearly 1,400 criminal aliens in the Houston area in June. Officials told Breitbart, Texas, that these criminal aliens include 32 child predators, wood chipper, 9 murderers, one illegal alien convicted of hijacking an airplane, holy shit, and 16 cartel or gang members. Okay, ICE enforcement and this ERO and removal operation officers assigned to the Houston field office arrested 1,000. We just read that. Where did this guy? He hijacked a plane in Cuba to Key West, so he was Cuban. Well, he could have gone through Cuba. Um, yeah, So here we go. Officials say that 32 criminal aliens were convicted of sex crimes against children. 9 more were convicted for homicide-related offenses. 16 were documented members of a transnational gang or drug cartel. And then one of the criminal aliens has a previous conviction for hijacking an airplane from Cuba to Key West. That is a puddle jump, really, when you think about it, with planes. So this is why we got to continue, foot on the pedal. We can't stop doing what it is that we're doing. It's this has to. We can't. I don't want to hear anything about amnesty bills and all that other bullshit. I just don't want to. Now's not the time, nor do I care for it and stuff like that. So I'm not going to be on board with any of that. As many of you won't be on board with any of that. So it's just a crock of bullshit. It's crap. It's absolute crap. Uh, yeah, we can't have any of that. But again, they're doing good work. We want them to continue to do work. But we're gonna continue to call balls and strikes here, fam. And just to guys let you know, I know Blondie was supposed to be with us tonight. She got caught up in the bad weather trying to travel home with her family. So, Blondie, if you're out there and you actually have this on while you're going, God bless you. Be safe. Take your time. Get home safely, and we will see you. Um, what do you call it? Not next week, because next week is Warrior Wednesday. I agree, Rognina. So next week's Warrior Wednesday, the major won't be with me, but I will have a guest who's tentatively have a guest with Warrior Wednesday, Suresh Madhavan, who he runs, I think it's 220. He's the CEO of 221B Tactical. He reached out to me. I followed him on Instagram and he reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, we should do a show." And he's actually a good dude to probably have on Warrior Wednesday because of his tactical equipment that he continues to puts out some really good stuff. He's very innovative, trying to make things lighter and whatnot. He's working overtime. He's working his ass off to make good stuff. He's tied into obviously law enforcement. He's tied into the veteran community and whatnot. So we're gonna bring him on tentatively. He said his schedule looks clear for next Wednesday, 8 p.m. for Warrior Wednesday. So definitely want to bring him on and highlight him, highlight his business. He is an America First guy. He was at inauguration and whatnot. Got to meet some Medal of Honor winners and whatnot. You got a 2 cent increase per kilowatt because of the data center they put up. Damn, that's some bullshit. About 20 more bucks. Still, 20 more bucks is a lot, man. Especially like think about it. In the winter, like our bills are a little bit freaking lower, all right, in the winter and stuff like that. And if still you get that $20, that's almost like paying what you were paying previously in the summer. Some bullshit. That's crazy. That's absolute nuts. I have to say my power bill even down here in the summer has been actually like pretty good, and I've been blaring the freaking AC because it's just been hot as hell and muggy. Today was the first day in a long time that I walked out to my vehicle to go to work and it wasn't completely condensed up and shit with condensation all over the place, and I have to drive in the sun with my windshield wipers on so I can see out my windshield. Uh I have to put my defrost on so I can see out the back in the summer. It's crazy. Uh it's really, really nuts. So anyway, next week Suresh, tentatively will be with us. It should be a good show. Like I said, he's a real solid dude. I've seen so he's actually got his own podcast as well. So we'll highlight that. So let you guys know about his podcast. He's on the East Coast, so we'll be able to get him. Uh, we get in the same time zone, so that's a good thing. And this Friday, we got a good show coming up with myself and Red Day Walker. Cozy Wellness is going to be back with us, Cozy 19, and we also have 2 new friends of the show that are going to be with him. um, Jesus AOK and DVS 7.0. And then we're going to talk about their jam New Blood. We'll play a video for you guys and talk about their activism in New York. These guys have been fighting in New York for a long time. I give them all the props in the world for doing that. They love their city and they're going to continue to freaking grind for us. They are America First guys. You guys all know Cozy anyway because he's been on the show a couple of times. Um, yeah, I mentioned that earlier, Nina, about when I started that with the storms in the Northeast. I was talking, telling everybody to give a prayer out to what's going on in the Northeast and whatnot with all the rains and floods, and that I have family that fortunately are up in the Northeast, but fortunately not been affected by that, the flooding that we've seen in places like Jersey and parts of New York, like New York City. They were on the I don't know if you've seen the videos. Just find it. You can find it. It was like flooding on the one train. Um, it is absolutely bananas and whatnot. Yeah, I mentioned that, honey. I did. I swear to you. That was one of the first things I talked about. I wanted everybody to say prayers to the people in the Northeast. And then I also mentioned that there was an earthquake, a 7.3, I think, or 7.5 earthquake off the coast of Alaska, the peninsula there. And, there's a tsunami watch going on because of that. So hopefully up there they don't catch a tsunami. That would suck. Tsunamis wipe out a lot. Yeah. Yeah, it was before Jonathan was. It was before she jumped in the chat. Next week we also got a full house next week too, fam. Monday we got Peyton Jackson, who's running for House District 33 in the state of Texas, which is the Dallas area. So she's gonna come on and hang with us. She's in America First. You might have seen her videos on Instagram. She was at a Blexic, what do you call it? Event. Also, she was at SAS speaking and whatnot. So she's very busy, but she's gonna take some time to come hang with us on Monday. Uh, Next Wednesday, like I said, we will have Suresh with us, Madhavan. I think that's how you pronounce his name. It might be Madhaven, the way he spells it. Um, it's okay, bro, Nina. We talked about that briefly, like I said. In the beginning, I kind of opened up with that about the with the storms and stuff like that, and just the natural disaster going around. And if you want to help some of these people, 7.2. Okay. I thought it was like 7.3 or 7.5. Thanks, Nina, for giving us that update. I know it's crazy shit going on. All right. Next week, Peyton Jackson on Monday, Suresh on Wednesday, and then next Friday we got friend of the show, Danny Cruz will be back, and we got a new friend coming on with him, Lana Liberty. She'll be on with us next Friday. She's got a pretty decent following on Instagram as well. So we'll just kind of continue to bring you guests as we can. And myself and Red Day are working like pretty hard to we're trying to see if we can get some of these candidates to come on the show, try to get them early before Big Con scoops them up and the mainstream media scoops them up, and then we can't get them because they won't come on. So um some of them, we're very fortunate that Peyton Jackson actually has a pretty big following. A lot of people know who she is in her district. She's part of she's at events, speaking and whatnot, and she's willing to give us some time to come hang with us, and we absolutely appreciate her doing that because that's what's up. We got to try to get some of these people as I'm working on trying to see if I can get it's not going to be easy, the dude that's going to be running against that shithead Lindsey Graham and whatnot. So if I can do anything to freaking help get his fucking ass tossed, that would be really nice. I'm not going to be gaslit into thinking that he's a good dude because he's not. He's a fucking scumbag, But speaking of the Senate, I don't know if you guys were paying attention. If you guys saw this today, I actually posted this on my page on Instagram as well. This is just out of committee, okay? But the usual suspects on the fucking right, the rhinos. Vance cast Senate tiebreaker to advance the Trump Doge inspired cuts. Again, this was just out of committee. It's not like on the floor or anything. It's going to be very tough to get this passed. Republicans moved one step closer to clawing back billions in foreign aid on Tuesday after Vice President J.D. Vance cast his latest tie-breaking vote to bring back the package of Doge-inspired cuts to the Senate floor. In a 51-50 vote, the Senate discharged the funding clawback known as recession's request out of the Appropriations Committee, despite the reservations of centrists. These people are not centrists, who fear the cuts will undermine American influence in global public health. As you know, everybody on the Marxist left, the American Communist Party, they all voted no. And then you have fucking senators, what do you call it? Lisa McCluskey from fucking Alaska, Susan, I need collagen Collins of fucking Maine, and Mitch Foreskin McConnell of Kentucky. Foreskin neck were the three Republican no votes. The usual suspects requiring Vance to come down, and he had to come and freaking break the tie. In a statement after the vote, Collagen Collins said her opposition stemmed from a lack of clarity on all the programs, full of shit, that would be included. And it's been out there forever in the foreign aid cuts. Again, foreign aid. She's worried about foreign aid. She also did not want to strip local public TV and radio stations. That's essentially PBS and NPR. She doesn't want to, what do you call it, strip money from. That should have been done a long time ago. Says the recessions package has a big problem. Nobody really knows what program reductions are in it. Everybody knows. Collins said that isn't because we haven't had time to review the bill. Well, she probably didn't look at it because they never do. Instead, the problem is that the White House, okay, let's blame it on the Office of Management and Budget, has never provided the details that would normally be part of the process. It's full of shit. Full of shit. So you know that they're gonna freaking, they're gonna debate on this. This isn't gonna be easy. Democrats, are not gonna vote for it at all. Um, and it's just again, let's just continue to fucking dump money everywhere and fuck American citizens continuously because that's what we like to do. That's what they like to do. They just like to, you know, a person like Susan Collins is pretty solid in her state because she gives the illusion that she's right down the middle, but she's really a leftist as well, right? Even though she has an R in front of her name, she's a leftist. Okay, she comes from Maine, right? And she gives the illusion of being a centrist so that she can continue to get reelected every time 6 years goes by. All right, and they keep electing her there because she makes her see she's very good at what she does up there, as far as she brings pork and everything and stuff like that. But she's not. She's a leftist. She's a rhino leftist. She's more than a rhino. I'm telling you, she's a leftist. She's a never Trumper, and she's not going to do anything to help Trump if she can. There are some things she'll vote yes on only because she'll get too much fucking pressure, even from her constituents. So, because there is a conservative bloc up in Maine, as we are everywhere. McCluskey, she's solid up in Alaska, not because like they like her up in Alaska, because they got fucking ranked choice voting up there. She literally, okay, got freaking primaried out the last time. All right, she got primaried out by a good conservative candidate. She convinced the fucking Republicans in control in Alaska to go to ranked choice voting. All right, and then she was able to come in and freaking get pushed the conservative out that primaried her out the first time. Right, and I think Sarah Palin got knocked off too because of that, and they ended up getting a Democrat. A Democrat ended up winning the seat because of ranked choice voting. It's an absolute disaster. So she's a lock up there because of that. Till they change that shit in Alaska, she's going to continue to be up there. She's not due to get reelected anyway until I think 2028. So like we got some time before we can freaking try to fight for her. But Collins, guys got to find it. If you're up in Maine, you're watching this, find a way to primary that old hag the fuck out. And can we get a real solid Republican, from Maine for a change for just once? Listen, Mitch Foreskin Neck McConnell, we know he's on his fucking last breath of fresh air. He's gonna croak at some point. Um, I don't even know if he's actually gonna be. I don't even know if he's decided to. I could have sworn he decided that he's not gonna run for reelection in 2026, but that doesn't. It wouldn't surprise me if he does. I thought he wasn't. Um, yeah, she's 100% shit. 7.3, 7.2. That's another corrupt area. The ones we deal with earthquakes, man, it's true. So we gotta work. We got a lot of work to do, fam. We got a lot of work to do. I know we're having some fucking, we're having some issues in our movement right now, which we shouldn't. We should still be lockstep on a lot of things. It's okay for us to disagree with the man in charge right now, okay, with Trump. We can disagree on shit, all right? I know he's putting out dumb fucking tweets. Well, his people are putting out dumb tweets. And I know they're calling out freaking, influencers to try to, tone the rhetoric down. Nah, don't. Okay. Um, don't keep it up. Like I said on Friday, like I said on Monday. Okay, I'm not gonna get too much more into it because we got a lot of work to do. With that said, okay, don't fucking sweep it under the rug. If you feel solid about it, it's okay to voice your opinion, regardless of whether the fact it differs from some influencers and some other influencers. And I'm not an influencer by any means stretch. I hate that fucking word, but they call themselves that. Um, I am not one. It's okay to disagree with shit. All right. It is okay. All right. We know that he's flawed. We've told you that he's flawed. We still got a lot of work to do. Country is not completely saved yet. Great 6 months that have been going on. We hope the next 3.5 years are fucking good. Okay. There are things in the works that can be good, be better for us and stuff like that. We got through that. We got the goalpost that we wanted. Now we need to bring it closer. Okay, so that we can just start to get a little bit more tight on things and stuff like that, because that's what we need to do is tighten shit down some more. But we, as a populace, have work to do. We can never ever give up this fight. America first. I'm gonna say it again, and I've said it before. Okay, it's about us. We are America first, not just our movement, not just our community, but a lot of other communities that are tied in with us. Okay, are America first. It's not about one man, one woman, or anything. It's about us and the continued fight that we need to do. And when we get upset about something, it's okay to be fucking upset. Get pissed off. Okay, voice your opinion, right? Because the pressure actually works because of social media. All right. Regardless of what he came out with this dumbass tweet today, the pressure is fucking working because the tweet wouldn't have come out if if it wasn't working. His people are tired of hearing it, so they put that out, but he signed off on it. Okay. Again, it doesn't mean I'm not fucking. He's still our president. I still want to see him succeed. I know that he's still got some good left in him to do over the next 3.5 years. I'm still fucking MAGA. Maybe not with him on some shit. I'm not gonna be with him on everything. And we've told you on the show, if there's shit that we disagree with, we're gonna talk about it, and we have. So nobody can ever say that we haven't done that on the show. But anyway, fam, I tried to bring you guys some good stuff. I hope you guys had a good night tonight. Again, give you another recap of what's going on. Friday we got Cozy 19 along with Jesus AOK and DVS 7.0 with their new song New Blood. We'll talk about that. We'll play the video for you guys. And we'll also talk about some what do you call it? Activism that they're doing. What do you call it? You know, um, in New York City and their continued fight that's going on because like that's another thing with New York City. They're trying to get fucking Curtis Lee to drop out. Like he's in the prime position. There's like a poll that just came out the other day, and I think like yesterday, I think it came out, and I think I saw it this morning. But they're all in the 20s together, the top three, and he's only down by like 3 points in these polls, right? So he's like right there. Everybody's kind of along the same line, right? And Eric Adams is at like 13%. So like there's no reason for him to fucking drop out. With those kind of numbers, that means it's split. And he's got a chance as to win as a Republican and not run as an independent like Homo is doing, and freaking Adams I think is running as an independent as well. So because the Democrats are the ones that are so anybody who's calling for Curtis Lee to drop out, yeah, they could go fuck themselves. That's just not. I'm not going to stand behind a guy Eric Adams because he's not any. Listen, I don't vote up there anymore anyway. But still, uh, we need to see people. If you're in New York, let's fucking build Curtis up and stuff like that. We got to get him elected. So anyway, they'll be here on Friday. Peyton Jackson on Monday. Suresh Madhavan on what do you call it? Wednesday of next week, which will be another Warrior Wednesday. The Major won't be with us because he's got a golf tournament. He sent me a picture of his new equipment, so I hope he's got it set up. Well, it's not new stuff that he need. He was talking about. He had the stuff. He just needs to set it up. So hopefully we'll have that set up for the next time we have him back on, so we don't have any comm issues with him and stuff like that. And then next Friday we have Danny Cruz will be back with us, friend of the show, and new friend Lana Liberty. So and then next Saturday we got movie night, and like Jonathan said, okay, he'll only freaking vote if there's a tie. So uh if you're on the Discord, go sign up on the Discord if you're not there yet. Don't forget to like and subscribe tonight, fam. I need your help, fam. All right, YouTube has got me on ice. I'm gonna ask a favor. If you're on Rumble and you have a YouTube account, okay, and you've been watching us regularly and stuff like that, okay, even if you haven't jumped in the chat to say hello, I'm asking for a favor to go to your YouTube channel and click that freaking subscribe. Okay. Um, yeah, we can't afford a commie jihadi in a big city like New York City. That'd be worse than what Diasio was up to, the shit that he was doing. Um, and he wrecked the city even, and it was pretty bad what he did. So the city can't afford that. So there are patriots up there fighting. uh they're fighting, and hey, they're trying to save the city. I don't blame them. I don't ever freaking give anybody shit for staying and fighting. Anybody who wants to stay and fight wherever they're at, by all means. I don't tell people to, I left up there because my family is where I'm at, so this is where I wanted to be with my family. uh uh, you know I outgrew New York and New York City like a long time ago. um I was pretty active in my youth and whatnot in the Young Republican Party up in New York, stuff like that, in my 20s and whatnot. And when I got back from Iraq, I just realized that New York was no longer for me, but I lived in the area, relationships and all that other bullshit. Um, so I stayed up there for a long time, but there was no reason for me to really stay up there any longer once my family moved down to the area where we're at now. And even I am like a little distance from my family because I still need my privacy and whatnot. I still need to, what do you call it? Do my own thing. But my family will actually be in town this week, so maybe we'll go out to dinner on Saturday. I always like when my parents comes in. Yeah. Um, yeah, I know, Nina. I know you always hitting up the you always hit the like button for me and stuff like that on both sides. I appreciate that. So yeah, I just need your help, fam. Okay, I need you to, if you're on Rumble, please go over to freaking YouTube, hit that subscribe. If you're on YouTube, come over to Rumble and you have Rumble, hit that subscribe. I need your help to build. I need your help to not only build this channel up and build, just build our community. Okay, I need to get off ice because it's killing me. I've been on YouTube long enough where things should be a little bit better, but my stuff will not get out. They will not put the algorithm completely got me on ice. Okay. It's just what it is. When I first started my channel, people were seeing stuff. I was getting comments and everything. I, People are telling me that sometimes it's hard for them to find me on YouTube. You can find me on Rumble easily, but like they're like, I can't. Sometimes I can't find you on YouTube, and other people can. So again, I need your help, fam. Rumble fam, if you got a YouTube, please go over there and just hit the freaking, what do you call it? Hit the subscribe over there. And on today's episode, you probably watched it on Rumble already. Just hit the like over there too. We need to beat this algorithm. And if you're not following me on Instagram, they got me on ice too. Go to Instagram. We gotta see we can build this community, but I gotta get off ice so my shit gets out there for you guys, for other people to see. So again, I appreciate you all. Anyway, I still love you all anyway, especially you ride or dies that have been with us for a while. By the way, this is episode, I think, 96. We're almost at our 100th episode, fam. We got 4 more episodes, and I think that'll be next Friday. Yeah, I think next Friday will be episode 100. So it should be a good show that we have with the guests that we have for episode 100. Right around the corner. Those of you guys that have been with us for since last year, okay, 100 episodes coming right up. It would be more if I could freaking, if I can, figure out how I can get Tuesday and Thursday up. I've been trying to do that, but trying to get a moderator and whatnot because like Jonathan he works his ass off and he takes care of like 4 or 5 other creators and I don't want to monopolize him like that because like I feel terrible. He runs our Discord and whatnot, so we all love you anyway, man. The job you do for us here on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays is impeccable. Um, there's an I wouldn't want anybody else modding for me, so but I have to. I'm trying to pick it up on Tuesday and Thursdays because I'm close. I'm close to being able to monetize on Rumble, but I need more hours and stuff like that. So I need all your help, fam. Like, subscribe, share these videos. Bring your friends on a Friday night. If you're watching us on a Friday night, bring them. You got like-minded folk. Tell them to freaking come hang with you. You know. Yeah, Nina, I know you have. I love you, Nina. Nina's always sharing with people. So yeah, share the content and just bring them so they can enjoy, the conversation with us, get involved. And I hope you guys on Rumble start getting more involved in the chat. We just want to see who you are, stuff like that. And once I get monetized, I can create emojis and stuff like that for you guys to drop in the chats and whatnot. Um, yeah. But anyway, fam, that's it for tonight. We get ready to call it. I will see you again on Friday night. Again, this Friday, Cozy 19, Red Day Walker will be back. Um, Jesus A-OK and TVS 7.0 with their new hit, New Blood. And we'll be talking about New York City and whatnot, New York. And obviously, we'll get into other things too. So, with all of that said, fam, I am the Big Red One Guy signing out. And remember that together and only together can we break the machine. God bless you all. God bless America. And I will see you all on Friday night, fam. Have a good night.